Oh. Sahana vavatu sahanau bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures. May our study be brilliant and maybe not cavil at each other. Om, peace, peace, peace unto us all. Dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to all of you. We welcome all of you to this online satsang of the Sri Sathya Sai Baba Center of Arcadia. So we have been doing the study guides on unity is divinity, but because of the major festival Maha Shivaratri coming up on next Thursday, that is March 11th, we wanted to focus on the theme of Maha Shivaratri. So we have sent you all a study guide which was developed by our team. This is a compilation of various teachings of Swami on Maha Shivaratri over the course of many decades. There were almost 103 discourses. Our team has culled some important quotes about the various aspects of Maha Shivaratri and came up with this study guide. I know nobody has time to read nowadays to go over all those 103 discourses. So here the major aspects of Maha Shivaratri are touched. Number one, what is Maha Shivaratri? First we should know that it, otherwise we becomes this holy days will become otherwise holidays. Swami says only you need to know the inner significance. That is why Swamis make the rituals spiritual. That is the whole purpose. And beautifully the great Tyagaraja said, Telisi Rama Chintana Chei. You can think about Rama, it is always beneficial, but Telisi Rama Chintana Chei, understand the meaning and think about, then it has many hundreds, thousands of times benefit. So whatever we do, when you understand, whether we do chant Rudram or Vishnu Sahasranamam, Lalita, whatever practices, we should know the meaning, then you really enjoy and gives much more benefit. That is the purpose we are doing the focusing the study guide on Maha Shivaratri. So we'll touch what is Shivaratri, Maha Shivaratri, then talk about Lingam, Lingodbhava, and worship of the Lingam is one important aspect of the Maha Shivaratri celebration, where we do the Linga Abhishekam. Another aspect is various aspects of Shiva himself, like he is adorned with ashes, what is the significance, he is adorned with snakes, what is the inner significance of that, so on, what is the significance of Shiva's family, the unity in diversity. So all these various aspects, when you understand, then really when you are singing the Shiva bhajans, so like Nandi Vahana, you understand what is the significance of Nandi, or Pannaga Bhushana, when you understand that he is wearing the snakes and what is the significance, or Bhasma Bhushitanga, how he is putting the Bhasma, what is the significance, Nandi Vahana, like that each significance we understand once we know the thing. That is the purpose we are going to do that. So we will go on just to this Thursday, we'll start, and next Thursday, you know, we'll have the whole 24 hours we are going to celebrate Maha Shivaratri along with our friends in the international group. So actually this will be repeated a few times because sometimes people, one time you tell, it doesn't sink into us. So that is why I will tell, and then Anupam, then Sridevi. On that day, that is March 11th, At 5:30 a.m., we will start with Omkaram and Suprabhatam. So this is an international program. People all over the world are joining. There are people from Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, and from Malaysia, Indonesia, even Bosnia, and Croatia, Czechoslovakia, Canada, USA, and Mexico. All over the world, people are going to join and celebrate this Maha Shivaratri. So throughout, depending upon the jam, we will have the Vedic chanting. That is mainly the focus is on Rudram, Namakam and Chamakam. And in the beginning we'll have some Ashtakams also, Lingashtakam, Bilvashtakam, and Vishwanadashtakam they will chant. So this is the program. So if you have in the past, what we used to do is we have just program here in the night, Maha Shivaratri night. So from 9 p.m. onwards till next morning. But this time people who have energy and enthusiasm can join from 5:30 a.m. that morning or Thursday morning, and you can, if people depending on their energy, you can be there 24 hours or 18 hours, 16 hours, 4 hours, 3 hours, it is left to you. But our Arcadia Center program will start at 7:15 p.m. till the next morning, 6 a.m. So you can have the same Zoom link with Arcadia. You don't need to change anything. Just click that link, stay on that, then you will have the whole program. So I'm just make note of this, very important. We will remind you again, but Anupam also will remind you and Sridevi. So just make a note of this important event next Thursday, March 11th. So now we will start this study circle on Maha Shivaratri, and we will start first is what is Shivaratri. This is the various codes from Swami over course of many decades, as I said. Each topic we will take and then discuss.
Sai Ram, brothers and sisters. Thank you, Dr. Reddy. So we are studying the Maha Shivaratri study guide, which has been sent to you by email. So you may want to open that. We'll start on page 1. If you have any questions, please put it in Q&A and we'll try to address it as time permits. What is Shivaratri? Today we are celebrating Shivaratri. What does it mean? Ratri, night, is associated with darkness. The Vedas declare Chandrama Manasa Jata, Chakku Surya Jata. The moon was born out of the mind and the sun out of the eyes of the Purusha. Moon is the presiding deity of the mind. So, mind should be pure and unsullied. February 14th, 1999. Well, the night is dominated by the moon. The moon has 16 fractions, and each day when it wanes, a fraction is reduced until it is annihilated on new moon night. After that, each day a fraction is added until it completes itself on full moon night. The moon is the presiding deity of the mind. Quote, out of the mind of the Godhead, the moon was born. Chandrama Manasa Jata. Unquote. There is a close affinity between the mind, Manas, and the moon. Both are subject to decline and progress. The waning of the moon is the symbol for the waning of the mind, for the mind has to be controlled, reduced, and finally destroyed. All spiritual exercises is directed towards that end. The mind has to be killed so that illusion, Maya, may be rent asunder and the reality revealed. Every day during the dark half of the month, the moon and symbolically its counterpart in man, the mind, wane, and a fraction is diminished, its power declines. Finally, on the 14th night, there is just a wee bit left, that is all. If a little extra effort is made that day by the spiritual aspirant, even that bit can be wiped off and mastery of the mind completed. The 14th night of the dark half is called Shivaratri, for that night should be spent in the repetition of the name and meditation on Shiva, without any other thought either of food or sleep. then success is assured. Once a year, on Maha Shivaratri night, a special spurt of spiritual activity is recommended, so that what is the corpse, Savam, can become God, Sivam, by the removal of this dross called mind. This is the purpose of Shivaratri. So it is foolish and even harmful deceit to imagine that quote-unquote keeping awake is the essential thing in its observance. People try to escape sleep on this night by playing cards, attending non-stop cinema shows, or watching plays or dramas. That is not the spiritual exercise that should be intensified on Shivaratri. That is a travesty of the vow of quote-unquote sleeplessness. It vulgarizes you and encourages evil and sloth, wickedness and hypocrisy. On Shivaratri, the mind must become reduced into nothing. February 7th, 1959. The moon, which is the presiding deity of the mind, wanes until on the 14th day after full moon, it is just a tiny curve of glimmering glow. The mind too must be starved into that condition, so that the person becomes free. Spend all the days with Shiva and the conquest of the mind is easy. Spend the 14th day of the waning moon with Shiva, reaching the climax of spiritual effort on that final day, and success is yours. That is why all the Chaturdasis, that is 14th day of the dark half of every month, are called Shivaratris, Shiva's nights. That is why the Chaturdashi of the Magha month is called Maha Shivaratri. This is a day of special dedication to Shiva, and since so many of you here and elsewhere pray to Shiva, the linga is emanating from me for you all to receive the grace and the bliss of the great moment of Lingodbhava, emergence of the linga. March 4th, 1962. The ancient sages who explored the link between numbers and the divine found the letters in the name of Shivaratri amounted to a total of 11, which was the number of the dark forces called Rudras, those who make people cry. The Rudras entered the intellects of people and turned their desires towards worldly things, thereby giving rise to attachments and hatreds and pursuit of sensuous pleasures. As they turned the minds of people away from God and towards evil, they were called Rudras. The sages declared that whoever is able to keep the Rudras in check on the sacred day of Shivaratri will be able to experience divinity. This means that control of the senses is the primary requisite for realizing the divine and attaining liberation. March 8, 1986. I'll turn it over to you, Dr. Reddy, for comments.
Yeah, so here you read the whole thing about Shivaratri, what Swami has said. So as we already, I'll summarize because Swami in each quote repeated some of these concepts because it is on different occasions of Maha Shivaratri. So as he said, at least all of us should have clarity. Shiva means auspiciousness, Mangalam. Ratri is night. Shivaratri means auspicious night. That is why Shiva by itself, like in all the names of the gods like Rama, we add Sri, Sri Rama, Krishna, Sri Krishna. But you don't say Sri Shiva because Shiva by itself means auspiciousness, Shiva. So Shiva is important to say that everything is auspicious. So this particular night, Ratri, Shivaratri, everything is auspicious and it, as the Swami said, it comes every month. That is called Maha Shivaratri. Each month, but people don't know that they are divided into two pachas, dark night and bright half of the month, Shukla Pacha and Krishna Pacha. So this comes in the Chaturdashi of the Krishna Pacha every month. But in the Magha month, which comes only once a year, which is this coming up in March 11th, this day Chaturdashi we call Maha Shivaratri. Because every Shivaratri, Maha Shivaratri is auspicious. But this Magha month, That is called Maha Shivaratri. Maha means great, very special. So this is the day because Shiva is also called Mahadev, the greatest God, also called Devonke Dev, is the God of gods. So on this day, you worship him with all your heart and soul. So here, the Swami said two important things. Shivaratri is connected to mind, he went on telling. Because in Purusha Sukta it is said, Swami quoted, Chandrama Manaso Jataha Checho Suryo Ajayata. In this Virata Purusha, the Supreme Lord, from his eyes comes sun, and from his mind comes this moon. So this moon is the one which is the presiding deity for your mind. And repeatedly Swami gave many discourses, and all the scriptures say that. So, Manayeva Manushyanam Karanam Bandhamokshayo. Mind is responsible for our liberation and also for our bondage. So what all is, you need to turn which way? You go turn towards God, you are joyful and free. And when you turn toward the world, you are bound and grief stricken. So how you turn to the world or God? That is why they gave the best example of key. You turn the key to one side, it locks. To the other side, is unlocked. It is the same key. Similarly, the mind, how you use it. That is why here Swami is talking about on the Shivaratri night, spend as much as time. Even the whole 24 hours, I said, this time we are lucky that because of the international program, we have 24 hours, not only 12 hours usually which we do, 24 hours, as much time we can spend in, Swami says, in three things. One is japa, Om Namah Shivaya, the powerful Panchakshari mantra. That itself we can repeat, that Om Namah Shivaya. Second, Swami says you can meditate on the beautiful Lord Shiva. Third is participate in the singing of the bhajans, so which on Lord Shiva, or chanting the Rudram, the Vedam, so which is signifies the glory of Rudra. So any of these things you see that means our mind is divinized in the thought, it is purified, and it is a really advantage because other days to struggle to control the mind is very hard. But this day is much easier because only a fraction of the mind is, the moon is there. There is a fraction of the mind. Of the 16 fractions, only one fraction is there. So easy to control. Whereas the other days, like full moon day, you have to struggle a lot. That is why people call the lunatics. Why? Lunar is controlled. There is a day when the moon influences. People say, hey, he went full moon day. People say, whenever people are behaving, hey, this must be a full moon day because their mind is agitated. Like even moon has influence on the ocean, the waves are things. So on that day, whereas this time, it is much easier to control this Chaturdashi day. And particularly in the once a year it comes, it is much more easy to control. That is how we should spend. When you think so much of God, you are so much happy that you forget about your food and you forget about your sleep. Right? That's because fasting and vigil becomes secondary because you are so happy. Like even us, for an exam we are preparing or some important function, we are all very busy. Our mind is so occupied with busy activity, you forget about your food and sleep. We are so busy. But it should be for God. You should be so absorbed, automatically you forget the food and sleep. But Swami said here one, playing cards, watching movies, doing something, it is wasting your time. It is better to sleep or better to eat. So that shit is not the important thing because over time people gave so much importance. I remember when I was in high school, people, they have this particular time, Shivaratri, they will have 4 shows the whole night, they will run this cinema hall. But that is really doing disservice, that is very sinful. And the day, at least if you sleep, it is good. But instead of that, you are wasting your time with these negative thoughts, you are more committing wrong things. So just, if you can think about God, so automatically you forget, that is good. And actually, I can tell you on this Maha Shivaratri day, Swami called us for lunch. The day before he said, come for lunch. All our family members said, oh, no, you must have heard wrong. We can suppose to eat. Actually, Swami called us for lunch and Maha Shivaratri to show. Anyway, it is wonderful to eat with Lord Shiva. So this is the another aspect is important is how you control the mind. So we need to think about chanting the name, singing bhajans, and meditation. And second thing is Shivaratri, the speciality. One is the aspect of bringing out the lingam. You know, we all have seen Swami himself bringing out the lingam, different lingas. Sometimes they are stone, sometimes Hiranyagarbha linga, sometimes he used to bring sometimes as many as 12 or 14 lingas at one time. Spatika linga, the many kinds of lingas. And sometimes because so many lingas come out, it used to tear apart his face. It was very painful. But Swami gave a comparison. Mother, when she is giving birth to a child, she goes through a lot of pain. But still she is happy because she is, similarly the God, this is spontaneously, this lingam comes out. This is another important aspect on Maha Shivaratri is lingodbhava. One is mind control, second is lingodbhava. Third, according to Puranas, Swami also said that this is the day Lord Shiva, who is a Nataraja, he danced, Thandava dance. Mother we call Lasya and Lord Shiva we call Thandava dance. He dances, he is supposed to be the great expert in dancing. That is why there is academies of dancing which go over Nataraja Dance Academy. So Nataraja is the great, the very same Nata is dancing, Raja means king, is king of dancers. So when he did this dancing, so what happened, so much heat was generated. So otherwise this heat, it will burn away the whole universe. So Mother Parvati, in the counterpart, the Prakriti aspect, she had a technique. She put water, Ganges, on his head. That will cool him down. And also, she has snakes around. They are cold-blooded things. That will also the thing. And she is Himachala, that is Himalaya daughter, Haimavati. So she is that. So the combination of that is snow, and then this water, and then snake, cold-blooded, all these, they cool him down. And more importantly, moon, crescent moon. That is why he is called Chandra Shekhara. He is the moon. So all this is cooling influences. Moon, then the Himachala, the snow, and then the cold-blooded snakes. So all this cool him down, Ganga. They all cool him down. So that is the significance of Maha Shivaratri. This is the day he did the cosmic dance. Thandava dance is cosmic dance. Actually, according to science, every time the whole universe there is a dance of the atomic particles all the time. There is a dance of these things. So that is the significance. Another third thing is they say this is the day Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva got wedding. This is the wedding day of Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva. So they are the Adi Purusha, Adi Shakti. They are the mother aspect and the female aspect of the Adi Kutumbam. That is the first family it is called. And she was one who was doing so much penance. That is why to have the Lord, because this is aspect of Purusha and Prakriti. The whole universe, there is female aspect and masculine aspect, the Shakti aspect and Purusha aspect, Prakriti and Purusha, nature and God. So they both become one because nature you cannot separate from God. That's why we learned. Nature is a gift of God, nature is a manifestation of God, and nature is God. So that is why the Ardhanara Ishvara, they become both one. They become only one to show that don't try to say that nature and God are separate. We should respect nature, and that's why Swami, we are all reaping. We insulted nature, abused nature. Now we are paying for this climatic change and all the troubles. So that is very important to give the importance, the union of Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva. This is another aspect of this thing. So this is the various aspects, Lingodbhava, and watching the mind control, and then Thandava dance, and then fourth thing is, what was the fourth thing? No, Ganga is for the cooling aspect, but wedding of both Parvati, the Prakriti and Purusha. And here, Swami is combination of both Prakriti and Purusha. We told before, does anybody remember? We chant in 108 names. the Jodi Adipalli Somapaya Namaha. So we say Jodi Adipalli Somapaya because Swami, like Shirdi Baba avatar, he said he is the embodiment of Lord Shiva. And this Pati avatar, Sathya Sai Baba, is embodiment of both Shiva and Shakti. And Prem Sai is embodiment only Shakti. So here, Swami himself said, this particular one, how many people analytically look, this Jodi Adipalli Somappa means Shiva and Shakti. There is a nice story, please go and refer, I will briefly tell, I don't know how many you remember. This happened in 1958. 1958, that means Swami was barely 32. So there is a family of devotees who came to Prashanti Nilayam from Bangalore, and they came and then they were leaving on 25th. They came for birthday celebration of Swami for 23rd of November 23rd, 1958. After the celebration, they were leaving, they left on 25th. Then on the way back, very close to Puttaparthi, maybe 50 miles, there is an area called Bagyapalli near that. Some of us who have gone to Puttaparthi, they have seen near Bagyapalli. Their child, a little young girl, she went into convulsions and became unresponsive. She became blue, almost dead. So they were worried about her. They didn't know this place. There is nobody to help them, and people, I know village, everybody surrounds, nobody can do anything. Meanwhile, there is a old man who came. They said this old man can help. He came there and then he helped and gave the vibhuti and blessed her, and then she became alert, awake, and then back to normal. So they were so thrilled, they were so grateful. They saw they lost their daughter. She was revived and back to life. They were so grateful, and they wanted to offer a rupee. He says, no, I don't need that. So then he says, who are you? He says, I am Jodi Adipalli Somappa. He says, my name is Jodi Adipalli Somappa. So, and then they said, okay, at least take this fruit. They gave one orange. Because Swami, when they left, they gave them 6 oranges. So one of them, they said, okay, at least take the orange. He took it and he left. Then the same evening, this happened around in the afternoon, 12:45, 2:45 in the afternoon of 25th in the village. And that evening, Swami says, exactly, because he went into trance, he left the body. Then after that, yeah, this girl, she died, that daughter of those devotees, and then I had to go there and revive her. And then he told the whole story, what happened. So that happened, and Swami related to the devotees around at 5:30 p.m. And the whole incident was described by the father of that girl, and he wrote, which reached on 28th of November. He reached. See exactly what Swami said before on that day at 5:30 p.m. The whole letter shows all the details, what happened. Then they didn't understand Jodi Adipalli Somappa. What does that mean? They didn't understand. Then they thought it must be Swami who helped, and same, because Jodi means couple. Adipalli means village. Adipalli means primeval village, the first village, which is Kailasa. Jodi is Somappa means Lord Shiva. Soma, he is Someshwara, Somappa. So showing that he is from Kailas. Instead of this, very unless you analyze, nobody can. I couldn't guess that. Lot of us won't know. So then you have to think about it. So coming from Kailasa, Adipalli, and he is the Jodi. That means both Shiva and Shakti together, and the Lord Shiva. So to show he is the Shiva Shakti, even he declared that in 1958. Another occasion also in Guru Purnima, he said how he is the Shiva Shakti because of the prayers of sage Bharadwaja he took, and he was the Shiva Shakti. So these are the very important aspect of Maha Shivaratri, that he is Shiva Shakti, and this Tandava dance and Lingodbhava. So please at least remember that. Oh, another important aspect here. Rudras, Shivaratri, right? Shiva, Swami says, numerologically it means 11. Shi means 5, Va is 4, and Ra means 2. 5, 4, 2 combined, so it becomes 11. So this is what this 11 mean? 11 Rudras. What are those 11 Rudras? Swami said, your 5 Jnanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas and Manas. That means 5 organs of action. Vak, Pani, Pada, Payu, Upastha. That means your speech, hands, feet and organs of excretion and generation. That is 5 Karmendriyas and 5 Jnanendriyas. So just these organs is, what are the Jnanendriyas? This Pani, Palapada, Upastha, Rupa, Shabda, Sparsha, Rasa, Gandha. Rupa means vision, sight. Shabda is audition. And Sparsha is touch. Rasa is taste. And Gandha is smell. So those are 5 organs of perception. Jnanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas, 5 Jnanendriyas become 10. And then 11th is the Manas, presiding of all the things. It is under the control. So these 11 Rudras are represents, in Shivaratri as we said, numerological 11. So that is why we chant this Namakam and Chamakam 11 times. 11 Anuvakas in the Namakam, 11 Anuvakas in the Chamakam. So this is so that to please the Lord Rudra, so that our mind goes towards God. Because this Rudra, as the name says Rudra, he will make you weep, cry if you go towards the world. But the same Rudra, he will give you bliss, you go towards the Lord. So you think about him. That is another aspect of these Rudras. Another thing Rudra says is, Ru means this disease, Rugmata. So, and also sickness. He will get rid of that. So whenever you chant Rudram or think about Lord Rudra, your problems, physical diseases, mental diseases, afflictions, troubles, they are all good. Because he's Bola Shankar. Once you pray to him, he easily gets rid of that. So these are the various aspects of Maha Shivaratri. We gave you the links for each discourse. You can go and detailedly read all those discourses, and that gives the significance of Maha Shivaratri. Okay, next topic.
The next is significance of lingam. The principle of love is Hiranyagarbha. This Hiranyagarbha is situated on the right side of the human body, with the physical heart is on the left. The physical heart on the left side has to be left one day or the other in some circumstance or the other. Hiranyagarbha, located on the right side of the human body, is always right. It is immortal, divine, eternal, and all-encompassing. It is present not only in human beings, but also in birds, beasts, and all other living beings. The Vedas declare Ishvara Sarvabhutanam. God is present in all living beings. Ishavashyam idam jagat. God pervades the entire cosmos. Love is the reflection of Hiranyagarbha and originates from it. The 3 principles of reaction, resound, and reflection have also originated from Hiranyagarbha. February 15th, 1999. Lingam means that in which this world attains nothingness, that into which this world goes. Examine the linga. The 3 primordial qualities, the gunas, are represented by the 3-tiered platform. The lingam above symbolizes the goal of life. Lingam means symbol, the symbol of creation, the result of the activity of the 3 qualities and of the Brahman, supreme reality, which permeates and gives it meaning and value. When you worship the lingam, do so with faith in this symbolic significance. Just as Om is the verbal symbol of God, the lingam is the symbolic form of the Godhead. February 7th, 1959. Contemplate the Atma Linga, spirit of the soul, the Jyoti Linga, the effulgent form, which this day emerges from me. Be convinced that the Linga is in every one of you, for it is a mark of the Shiva that resides in the Shava, body shell. Allow the vision of the Atma Linga to enter into your inner consciousness and elevate it into divine heights. Do not waste the few days that you are bent on spending at Prashantinilayam into days of hectic chatter, vain disputation, idle curiosity, or restless wanderings. Learn the discipline of the place and limit your talk, your association, your comfort, so that you may live in thoughts divine, not merely in this atmosphere, but later in your own homes. Take delight in the shanti, peace of this place. Do not disturb it by thought, word, or deed. Utilize this rare chance, this unique opportunity secured by the merit of many births for self-improvement. We stop here?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll turn it over to you, Doctor,
Okay.
for comments.
So as Swami here, it is very clear, and he mentioned liyate gamyate it lingam. So that means it is lingam is symbolic, so in which everything merges. Like we talked about Omkar, it is so powerful, right? Pranava, Om ityekaksharam Brahma. Om represents the symbolism of Supreme Brahman itself. That is why Lord Krishna says in Gita, the one who has the name of Om, Pranava, in his lips or in his mind, at the time of death, he will be one with me. That is the power. That is why the power of Pranava, Omkar, it is symbolic, as Swami says, verbal symbol of the Nirguna Nirakara Brahman. So God has both form and attributes. That means Saguna and Sakara. He has form and attribute like Lord Rama, Lord Krishna, Shirdi Sai, Sathya Sai, Jesus, Buddha. These are all God with form and attributes. But ultimately God, we say, is Nirguna Nirakara. He is beyond attributes and beyond form, beyond time, space, and consciousness. That is the ultimate Brahman, whom we talked about Brahman before, according to the Upanishads we had. So here, that is the ultimate truth. But we can't experience that. So to catch that ultimate truth, verbal symbol we use is Om. But the form symbol, because we use is Lingam. So like Lord Rama, Swami, they have head, hands, feet and all that. But Lingam, do you see the head, heart, feet and hands? You don't. So that is the thing, formless form. It is a form, but which is without any that particular form. But it is the most powerful. He says all forms and names merge. Liyate iti linga. Everything merges in him. That is the power of linga. That is why you can see in all the temples, big Shiva temples, we all know whether it is Rameshwaram or you go to Somanath or Srishailam, all great Shiva, Kashi Vishweshwara, Kedarnath, all these great temples of Shiva, they don't worship the Shiva idol like which we do for other Lord Vishnu or like Panduranga or Puri, like that. Here you worship Linga because that is the ultimate symbol of auspiciousness and thing, because everything merges in this. In this, Swami was talking about there are many kinds of lingas. In physical sense, there are things, whereas in the, as you said, crystal lingas, particle lingas, in the stones, and the ultimate is the Hiranya Garbha linga. Swami emphasizes Hiranya means, we talked about last week also, is gold. Garbha means womb. The one who has in his womb the gold, that is Hiranya Garbha. That is what God has. And that is what Swami brings about on the day of Maha Shivaratri, Lingo Bhava. And here the important thing said, not only God, he says we all can bring about, hope one of us in the day we can bring about this Hiranyagarbha. He says every one of us has that thing permeating in us. But here God, because he's so pure, he crystallizes the whole thing, all this Hiranya, which is all pervading in everybody's body, he says, because we are all Shivam. So he brings it out and crystallizes into one place. That is why it is called Hiranyagarbha. Originally, Lord Brahma is considered Hiranyagarbha. So we used to say, whenever you say Hiranyagarbha means Brahma. But Hiranyagarbha, Swami says, everybody, that is auspiciousness, and it is permeating everybody, and it is beyond the three gunas, because we all have three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. but this goes beyond the three gunas, this lingam, and that is what we are. And then you really, Swami says, instead of Shavam, which we are the body, we become the Shivam, or the ultimate reality. That is what the Hiranyagarbha. Another meaning of Hiranyagarbha, Swami says, it does hitam and ramyam. Hiranmayam is hitam and ramyam is hiranmayam. That means hitam means it does good to you. Ramyam means it's very beautiful, pleasing. You know, gold always, everybody wants gold, right? So nice gold rings or gold necklaces. So that is why every aspect of God, even Lord Shiva said, Hiranyabhave, Hiranyavarna, Hiranyarupa, even Mother Lakshmi, Hiranmayam Lakshmi. So we describe. So this is the aspect of Lingam, Hiranyagarbha. So this is about the Linga. We will talk about it more, not next week, because next week we will be spending all the time on the devotional practices from 5:30 a.m. That morning till next day. Whatever you are comfortable, but at least our center bhajans will have from 7:15, and we'll have 4 Rudra Abhishekams. We can we do it live here, which we'll send by Zoom link. You can participate in that. So just please look at your emails, read them carefully, listen, concentrate. People say, oh, when is it going to start? So just we already sent the things, and study guide also what we sent. Please read them. Then you can really enjoy what is Shivaratri, what is this Lingam, what is this Rudram, and what is this Vibhuti Abhishekam, why we are doing the Bilva worship, what is this Nandi significant, snakes, that is why, and all the names of God Shiva we sing. So please make sure let us study intensely, then we will really enjoy it. Okay? Sai Ram, and we will see you next week.